That was atrocious. They're still in line for the SEC West. They can't, they'd lost that game. Texas A&M all of a sudden is a couple wins away from Atlanta. But they're still in control of their own destiny. They play Arkansas, and they still got Auburn. But, yeah, yikes. I mean, that was just no one can come out of that game feeling good. And they got New Mexico State, of course. How can I forget it? Because I won't be here next week for the New Mexico State game. I'm going to Knoxville because I'm having a fun weekend with friends. Anyway, what in the world was that, guys? Give me your comments, questions, reactions to that, because I'm still trying to wrap my brain around it. What happened? What are your guys' thoughts on what happened tonight in Tuscaloosa? To the offense, the defense was fine. Davis Price had some runs. They made some plays, but that's you're playing a Division I team that, even though they're beat up, they don't have booty or whatever. They're still a Division I team that has athletes. So you're going to give up points, especially that first drive where they ran the fake punt and a really cool play, and you give up points. In modern college football, you're just going to give up points unless you're Georgia, and even they gave up 6 points to a backup quarterback from Missouri, and that team's awful. So you just have to wonder. Let me rephrase. So teams are going to score, but the offense has got to, geez. Let's go into the numbers just from a team stats preposition or whatever. Tied in first downs, 16 for 16. Not all that surprising. Third down, LSU was 5 for 18 on third down, 4 for 13 on third down for Alabama. But LSU was 5 for 7 on fourth down. Ed Orgeron's gone. It would have been very easy for him to just pack things up and be like, okay, we're going to mail this season in. But he's coaching for his next job, and those kids are still playing hard for him. And he was aggressive tonight. We've talked about it too. You're not going to beat an elite team playing scared, Scott Frost. You're going to go for it. You got to be aggressive. You got to take chances. Yes, it's more likely that we talked about this with the Ole Miss game. It's more likely you're going to get blown out that way if you're going for it on fourth down and you're just being ultra aggressive. But it's the only way you're going to stay in a game against a team we all think is elite in Alabama. I mean, they were ranked number 2. We can argue that later if they deserve to be number 2. Probably, well, they actually still might be number 2. This is a rough week for a lot of teams. But, yeah, good on LSU for that. Good on Orgeron and Jake Peetz and Max Johnson, even though he was miserable tonight. Total yards, Alabama only outgained LSU 308 to 295. With the state that offense is in, that's unacceptable. Well, not the offense. The state that defense is in, that's unacceptable. Giving up 295 yards to a Division I team with talent, okay. Not great. Not great. But you live with it. You can go, okay, A, B, and C happened. They got some yards here. Because after that first drive, until the LSU did nothing for a large chunk of this game, which makes that 308 yards confounding because the Alabama defense is getting 3 and outs. They're getting 5 and outs or whatever. Like, they're getting 1 first down and then they're punting. Like, just confounding. Okay. Alabama did. Bryce Young, 302 yards passing, 24-37, 8.2 yards in attempt. Didn't throw a pick, while Max Johnson was 16 of 32 for 160 yards. 2 touchdowns. Did throw a pick, and of course they had completed a pass on that the fake punt, which was a really cool play. I'm not going to lie about that. Rushing, LSU 109 yards on 40 carries, 2.7 yards per rush. Now, of course, Max Johnson took a few sacks tonight, and he was minus 15. You put those yards back on there at 124, which isn't great, but against Alabama, you take it, and you hope that other parts of your offense are going to step up. Alabama, on the other hand, had 26 carries, 0.2 yards per rush, 6 yards. Now, once again, let's take out Bryce Young, and they have 28 yards of rushing on 26 carries. So they're averaging now a little over 1 yard a carry. Like, is there anybody celebrating that? No. So I don't know what Bill O'Brien's got to do. We're kind of seeing it with Texas right now. I mean, just speaking of Sarkisian and this game plans from last year, Sarks, they're struggling. They're put up like 7 points against Iowa State tonight. So clearly the talent was there last year, and it's not all Sarkisian just being a play-calling genius, as some will have you believe. But, man, no excuse for how much talent Alabama has and how much they've lost, how much LSU has lost for that to happen, for that level of incompetence in the run game to happen. Because even, like I said, even if you take away Bryce Young's minus 22, negative 22 rushing yards, you're still only at 28 yards and 26 carries. So Brian Robinson, 13 carries for 17 yards. Like that unacceptable. Unacceptable at the University of Alabama. It should be. Yeah, pulling up, it's not all Sarkisian. Sarkisian has what we'd like to think is an elite running back in college football and ran for 104 yards tonight. Robinson had 18 carries for 90 yards, but they put up 7 points. And so clearly it's not just – put that one up. Not just the fact that last year's team had Najee Harris and Mac Jones and all those weapons, Mechie, and they have the Heisman winner at wide receiver, for goodness sakes. Something is wrong here, and I don't quite know what. If there's Alabama fans in the chat that want to discuss it, is it just blocking? Is it the scheme? Is it Brian Robinson doesn't see hole? I don't know. But even if Brian Robinson doesn't see holes that well, you would think he'd still get more than 17 yards. That was a beat-up LSU team. They're missing like over half their starters on defense. I think they're missing like 7 starters on defense. And then their defensive tackle went out tonight, and still nothing. Still couldn't do anything.